Hello, everybody. Talmar Anderson from Boss Actions, and we are dashing through December. Yeah, it's a 7-part series where we are sharing some myths, some misconceptions, some actions that bosses can stop doing to make it easier to get what you need from your team. Yeah, it doesn't have to be hard, it could even be fun. Today, we're talking about the age old one. I understand hiring is very challenging right now, specifically for some industries. But I want to tell you this complaint is one that can absolutely be fixed and really improve the way any new hire shows up in your company. This big myth is there's no good people to hire. I remember starting with a client, and it was our first talk. We were on the phone or on a Zoom probably, and we were having a conversation. And he literally started with, Talmar, just tell me straight. Is there is this as good as it going to get? Like, am I expecting too much? Am I asking for too much for people to be able to do this job? And I was like, no, you're not asking too much. It's not too hard. However, let's talk about good or good enough. What is good to you? Are you feeling me? Because here's your reality check. We need to dash that there's no good people out there. It's that we as a boss have to be clear what good means because it's really different for different people. Some people think a good employee is someone that checks in before they make any major changes to help a client out. Another boss thinks that an employee should help the client no matter what and then report back later what the issue was and how they fixed it. Two different ways of being a boss. So if we can agree that there's different ideas of what a good employee is, then we really need to understand it's up to us to define what good means to us before we start writing employment ads and job descriptions and creating our interview process. A hiring process really needs to be clear on what success is. And it's got to be more than can use Excel because, right, what about proficiency? Do we need beginner Excel? Macro level Excel? What would success look like? And as soon as a boss, yeah, you boss, can get clear on what good is, then we have a chance at attracting someone that will be able to do the job well. I totally understand that it is frustrating when you are putting a data analyst position out there and you're attracting somebody that has a history, running a retail store. That is a mismatch 100%. And that's just somebody that's really anxious to find things. You're going to get that, but you will get through your process much faster and much easier when you are very clear on what success is. And that has to include the way you like to communicate as a boss, the way they align with your clients and your business, the way that they are going to check in with their authority figure, right? In the example we talked about, do you want somebody that asks a lot of questions before they pull a trigger? Or are you looking for people to get things done and then learn from that issue afterwards together? Two very different people. And both of those people, that boss could have been under a customer service representative ad, right? I need somebody that's going to make the client happy. But in company A, you're going to make sure to check in with the boss before you change anything in our regular process. Company B, you're going to go through, make the client happy, and then bring that issue to us so we can decide how to continue it forward if it's a reoccurring issue. Very different, and neither's wrong, right? That's what I tell you. You can build a team however you want. But if we don't take the time to sit down and decide and design exactly what good is, then we really have an issue. You do want to work a process of getting clear and identifying what your business needs to really help you attract the good people. This is how you get to the other side of managing people that can do the job. Because now we have the right people applying for the jobs and we have the right process vetting that they can do the job before we put them on the payroll, before we start to cut that independent contractor checks, right? We need to know that they can do the job. But that knowing only comes from us taking the time as a boss to define what good is. So if you're hiring, I want you to go back and look at your documents and really think about, did I ever define what I really wanted? And did I communicate that during our hiring process? It doesn't have to be hard, but it does take a little time, and it will always pay off because you won't have management issues and you'll get the performance you need on the other side. So we're dashing the idea that there's no good people out there, and we are deciding and committing to get clear on our own version of what good is before we start to try to attract anybody for any future positions. It's going to make a dramatic change, I promise. If you have more questions, reach out and let us know. You might have heard we have a webinar coming up, a free training on how to get what you want from your team. Sign up. It's an hour's worth of great content that will only help you get better at being the boss that you want to be. All right. Boss on. See you tomorrow.